Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Woo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from October the 24th, 1992. This is the go-home show before we review Halloween Havoc 92. If you are listening to this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button to like the video, and then hit subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment or two about what you love, hate, or are indifferent about the show. Harper loves when people do that. He gets angry when comments aren't left. He gets angry when the thumbs up button isn't hit. He gets angry when folks don't subscribe. So please help keep Harper sane and do all of those things. It would be greatly appreciated. I am sitting here with Doc and not Harper. The reason being, Harper is going to be on Halloween Havoc with us tomorrow. As of when this show drops tomorrow, Halloween Havoc drops on pay-per-view for 1992. He'll be on that one. He's supposed to be. Doc, how are you?
Man, I looked at that Havoc. Fucking thing's 3 hours long. What the fuck?
It's a pay-per-view. What did you expect?
2 hours? Like a Clash of Champions? Come on.
Just wait. I was looking ahead at the slate of shows for Saturday night. I think there's like two straight weeks after the October 31st episode, so like the first 2 weeks in November, those are 3 hour episodes. So guess what? We're gonna be breaking those in half.
You better call Crockett.
We're gonna be breaking those in half. Okay. Let's just leave it like that right now. Those will be broken in half. So yeah. But how you doing, man?
What? I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Sorry I missed last week. I don't know if you've heard the news, but we have a 5-star review that we need to get to. Are you good with that?
Yeah, let's jump into it because this one is really good. It's a nice little write-up, and I appreciate the person who submitted it.
Well, it's Mr. GVCBXSGBC was what was left, and I can't see the title. Accurate Greatness something.
Personified.
I like it. And I'm just going to state now for the record that all 5-star reviews are intellectual property of the listener and don't always reflect how BTT views the world.
Okay.
So that if we get an offer to join a certain someone's radio network, we'd always be open for conversations. And here's the review. It says, BTT is most definitely that. Mike, Doc, and Harper know their stuff. If they aren't working off of firsthand memory, that's pretty sketchy. They obviously do their research. No, we don't. They make this show so much more enjoyable than Conrad, the Alabama spot monkey.
Damn, that's stiff.
So if you haven't done so yet, do yourself a favor and listen to Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
Once again, just want to say thanks for the 5-star review. You too can get your 5-star review written. If you write a 5-star review, you will get a shout out on air. Submit that 5-star review on Podcast Addict or Apple Podcasts, and Doc or I will read your 5-star review on air. So make sure you get it submitted, and we'll definitely get it read. Give us time. Know sometimes we're a week or two ahead on the schedule in terms of recording. So if you submit it one day and don't hear it for a week or two, that's why. We will read it. Doc, as I said before we were getting rolling, Halloween Havoc 92 will drop tomorrow. it is something else. That's all I want to say at this moment. We will get into the specifics of it when we review it. But the only way that you out there can listen to it is by going to our Patreon page at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That's how you can listen to Halloween Havoc 92. That's how you can listen to all of the Clash of the Champions we've done and so much more. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. You deserve it. Give yourself the gift of BTT Patreon and watch the quality of your work life go up and your whole life go up because, we'll give you a laugh or two. And Harper, like I said, is supposed to be there. And I can only imagine when I tell him some of the things that happen or don't happen and why, how angry it's going to make him in the promos he may cut. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, Doc. Boy, Halloween Havoc 92 is going to be something.
I haven't started it yet, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be, it will be something.
We were doing so good, and then Bill Watts got in charge. What happened?
Dude, more on that later. Airtight, brother. All right, Doc, how about we talk Saturday Night on TBS from October the 24th of 1992? How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan, my friend.
So we'll jump into this thing again, October 24th of 92. This week's episode was taped October the 19th, 92 at Center Stage. It's the first half of the taping from that day. The second half will be next week on Saturday night.
That's got to be hard because it's part of it's before the pay-per-view and part of it's after it. They need to plan better on that.
Yeah, but they were kind of used to it back then because it was more of the norm. So,
okay.
I mean, like even Corny did pretty good, and he didn't have pay-per-views, but he did pretty good whenever his big shows happened and he had tapings before. Like, he was really good about how they did things. So, like, I think they're good at it, but the problem, not this week or next, but just in general, not specifically to this week or next, but in general, the problem's Bill Watts right now.
Okay.
Just a point of note as we're jumping into this. Greg Valentine walked out after this taping, after he noticed he wasn't scheduled to appear on any upcoming shows. He was scheduled to face Sting on this taping, but when he realized he wasn't scheduled beyond anything after this show, he said, "See you later, brother," and we won't see Greg Valentine in WCW again for another 4 years until 1996.
All right.
So there's that. Yeah. We get an intro from Tony Schiavone. He talks about what we'll see today and hints of more trouble with Wyndham and Rhodes and why Rhodes is once again tagging with someone other than Barry tonight on Saturday night. Boy, this tag division is a shit show.
Yeah.
No other way to say it. And again, it's a go-home show before Halloween Havoc. So let's get into it. First match, Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton versus Dustin Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat. JR says Wyndham is unable to compete in this contest with Rhodes, but we don't know why. And JR continues mentioning that Rhodes and Wyndham will battle Gordy and Williams tomorrow at Havoc. So stay tuned to see if that happens by going to our Patreon page at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT.
So here's the thing. I've never seen this Havoc, not 1 second of it. So I have no idea what's about to happen. But the way you're kind of laughing and guffawing is getting me concerned about how I'm going to spend 3 hours. Now, let me tell you this. Arn has to come out to Bad Street. That should never happen.
Bruh.
Then, Steamboat and Rhodes, and I don't want you to play it because it might be too much of it might get us yanked down here. They came out to some song that was a rip-off version of Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with these four dudes in the least, but the creative is the shits.
It's bad. You're hemorrhaging tag teams. Hemorrhaging.
Why'd you put the belt on these two and then the next week start teasing problems?
Because they're calling audibles and they're just like, oh God, it's scrambled eggs. We'll figure it out as we go.
You know why you call an audible? Because the original play was horse shit.
And sometimes you got to credit the defense, but oftentimes it's because
you need a mirror.
Maybe your plan
isn't so good.
Wasn't exactly.
Was doo-doo.
Meanwhile, one of the best tag teams in the promotion, Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton, well, we'll just have them jerk the curtain tonight. You know, it's no big deal, and we haven't been doing anything with them, by the way.
Here's my note. I got mad halfway through this match. I said, I need Billy Watts to remember he has Arn Anderson on the roster.
Bruh, he does. That is the greatest
crime.
I don't know, call it
booking crime.
I don't know, call it tragedy. That's the greatest booking crime in all of this. The fact that according to Arn, Watts is like, you and Bobby Eaton are two of my best workers, and Arn's like, why the piss aren't you doing anything with us?
Yeah,
during this era.
Can you get me to 547?
Yeah, what are we looking for?
The crowd.
I'm going in there. Am I playing audio?
No, there's an old lady in the crowd.
Okay, we're almost there.
Yeah, her. You see the chin?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you might.
Man, her chin's sticking out, huh?
Yeah, it sure is. When's the last time that old lady used the N-word?
Oh, man, why would you ask me that?
Well, the guy on the right's thinking it right now. But what about
that dude looks like a straight up redneck.
Right, and look who's sitting right behind him. He's thinking it. Yeah. But that old lady says it too. Back then, 100%. So when was the last time she dropped nuclear bombs? The N-word, the nuclear bomb.
I don't know.
Okay.
She didn't say it during this taping.
Okay.
I could tell you that
I need
much.
Harper here because he would have had an answer for that. I bet she did.
That redneck with his arms crossed next to her.
He's not happy about the seating situation here.
Neither one of them.
This is some bullshit.
It's kind of like when we were watching Smokey.
And I know.
They cut to that dude in the audience with the stars and bars, and he looked legit hot when the gangsters were in the ring. Those bastards out of there. The match, Doc.
927. I don't know what it is, but I had that Arn did something that I said was beautiful.
All right. Here we go. 927 right here. Oh, when he ducks and hits that kind of like a lariat, but he's crouched down, almost a
and then he's
top.
all fired up about it.
Well, you got to take your wins when you can get them.
No
right?
Shit.
During this time, since they're jobbing you out all the time.
That's right. All right. So
what else?
Let's get to the finish and shit on it.
This is so sad. This is Bobby Eaton. This is Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson versus Dustin and Steamboat, and we're just like
slogging through it.
No level of excitement.
That there's something wrong with that picture.
It's just bad. So we get a swinging neck breaker from Bobby Eaton, and then Eaton goes to the top rope as my computer just froze up.
Jesus.
And Dustin catches Eaton as he's coming off the top, and there's going to be a backbreaker right here in a second from Dustin. And then only 15 seconds to go in this point of the match. Arn and Steamboat are in, but time expires, so we get no winner. So we go to a time limit draw. They do continue brawling after. Hayes tried to come in, but Dustin catches him. And then Steamboat hits a chop off the top on Arn and goes for the pin. The crowd did erupt, but there's going to be no pin because, once again, time expired, and that was it.
Why?
And, yeah, man, I don't know what we're doing, dude.
I mean, that was exactly my note, was why. And then my only other thing was I was going to say, leave it open for you, because sometimes you're like, man, you don't know wrestling. So let me explain why they did that. And I was hoping that maybe you had one of those, but it doesn't sound like it. So there you go.
The only thing I can tell you is I will give the crowd credit. It sounds crazy, right? The crowd was really into it.
Okay.
Like they liked the no finish, as I'll call it. But for me, I think we know too much at this point in terms of backstage stuff, and that makes us poo-poo this even more.
That could be true.
Because if we don't know the backstage stuff, we're like, all right, well, maybe they're trying to build something with this. But no, we know the backstage stuff, and it's just like, Dustin's out here without his tag team partner. This is bull crap already. And then Arn and Bobby are being treated bad, and we know for a fact that Arn hated this era. So it's like we know too much about. That's
probably true. It doesn't absolve anybody of the crimes being committed. It just says, there you go.
Exactly. Promo. So let's go to that right now. Here that is.
Listen here, Michael Hayes. You see what I'm talking about? Former NWA World Tag Team Champions couldn't do nothing with us. The current Tag Team Champions, Barry Windham wouldn't even sign. But we did find out we had something in common. We don't like Windham and Rhodes, and they don't like each other either. So Gordy and Williams, 24 hours away. After you beat Windham and Rhodes, then you got to look out for us. What do you want? Let me tell you something, P.S. Hayes. There ain't no problem between Barry and I. And secondly, tomorrow night, seeing that we are the Unified World Tag Team Champions, tomorrow night when we face Doc and Gordy, we're going to remain the Unified World Tag Team Champions. I've been trying to give you advice for 2 weeks. What you need to do is shut your mouth. Oh, wow, we'll take a break on that one, fans. What a situation. What a way to start the program, and we'll be right back.
Now, I did like that.
I did too. You know why? Because it was simple. And they were talking shit at each other.
Right. We didn't get 20 minutes of yapping and blah, blah, blah. We actually got a fight. And
I thought when Hayes said, what do you want? Boy, that was natural sounding and put out, and that was great.
Yeah, that was the best part of the whole thing. That was the best part of it. I mean,
I think Kevin Sullivan said it best. It ain't that hard. We're fighting over a title. I was going to help you and tell you how to beat Gordy. You won't listen. We'll just beat you ourselves.
Yeah. Best part of it. Simple. It ain't that fucking hard, guys.
It ain't that fucking hard.
As we go to commercial, we see a graphic for the King of Cable, and the voiceover says, stay tuned next week for news on that. So just wait.
That sounds awesome.
It's not bad. Like, I don't hate it.
Now, I've seen that, but it was probably 30 years ago. We rented it at from a Blockbuster or some shit.
Well, no, they're going to do it over the course of several Saturdays, and then there's going to be a final at a pay-per-view.
That's what I saw. Okay.
But it's not the worst. Like, I don't hate it. Because
King of Cable sounds like it'd be some Run DMC song off Tougher Than Leather.
But we'll talk more about the King of Cable as we go.
I'm the king of cable. You know that I am able. Go ahead.
For now, though, we're going to go to Cactus Jack and Tony Atlas, who are out there cutting a promo.
Ooh.
Jesus Lord.
Also, let me just say this. The views of Tony Atlas do not reflect the views of BTT. Please enjoy the following interview.
Everyone to WCW Saturday Night, tomorrow night, the big night in Philadelphia, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on pay-per-view. One of the great matchups will be for the WCW Heavyweight Championship of the world. Ron Simmons will defend against the Barbarian. Obviously, you will be at ringside.
And still, Jim Ross, they don't believe that Ron Simmons is on the eve of destruction. But that's okay, because we've worked too hard and struggled too long to be turned back now. They've been doubting us since day one, laughed at us, but they're not laughing anymore. You see, the more you doubt us, the stronger we become. Because I believe that Barbarian can be the next champion. Tony Atlas believes that the Barbarian can be the next champion, but more importantly, the Barbarian knows in his heart that he's got what it takes to be the next world champion. Tony, tell him about it.
Well, you know, I've been training the Barbarian and myself as being the strongest athlete in the world. I know another strong athlete when I see one. And you let me tell you something, Ron Summers, with your nappy-headed, thick-lipped self. You ain't got no choice. I know you, brother. But I know the Barbarian a whole lot better.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back up to...
All right. Wasn't expecting that. What about you?
Well, I'm not sure. Is that allowed between brothers to talk that way?
Sure.
Okay. Because if Cactus said it, we'd have a problem here. Can Tony get away with? I mean, he couldn't do that now, or could
he? It wouldn't happen now just because of the
corporate nature,
standards and practices and corporations, and I mean, even in AEW, which isn't a publicly traded company, I don't think you would hear something to that level.
No, you can take a pizza cutter to somebody's head, but you can't, get some heat. I got you.
Right. Yeah. But no, I don't. Like, you wouldn't hear that in WWE.
So let me ask you
from
this.
one black wrestler to another, nor would you hear it in AEW. I don't think.
So let me ask you this. Was that pretty stiff?
That was pretty stiff.
Okay.
I mean, it was no, like, and here's a thing about that. It was different, but there's a Ernie Ladd promo from Mid-Atlantic that's on our YouTube channel right now where Ernie Ladd tells Rufus R. Jones he's going to slap the black off of him.
Oh, my God. Is that possible?
So, like, I mean, now this is
that what
11,
happened to
12
you?
years. This is 11 to 12 years after that. This is 11 to 12 years after that, but, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a promo like that.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
You won't hear
All
that
I know
nowadays.
is that it did not sound up to standards with the DEI principles that we all adhere to, and I was just curious as to your thoughts.
You just work somebody into a shoot because you said them letters again. Somebody out there doesn't realize you're just trying to have fun, talk about old school wrestling, and you can't help yourself, and you know what you're doing. So if you're one of those people out there who just got worked into a shoot, he triggered you and he accomplished what he was looking to do. I already know. I can't even laugh because I know what you're doing. Just like when Ron Simmons won the title, you're like, yeah, we had to get some DEI in here.
Did I say that?
Yeah, see, you don't even remember saying it.
No.
And I gave that exact same spiel. I was like, there he goes, just working everybody into a lather. And yeah. I look, this show ain't even out yet, and the DMs are flying into the show Facebook page, and the emails are hitting the email address.
If you got enough time to send a message, you got enough time to sign up for the patron feed. That's what I'm saying.
As we continue, Tony Atlas definitely was stiff right there on Ron Simmons. Okay. We will continue. We go to Barbarian versus Mike McReynolds. McReynolds looks like he's 18 years old. This dude is slender.
Right. Here's my exact note. McReynolds looks like a TBS intern that they are playing a really bad rib on.
The only reason I'd say that he's not is because he actually does know how to bump. And he oversells things, although it is the Barbarian, so I'm sure that's the way he's selling is. I get it. But he is, he looks like he's 18, bro. He looks fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
He's a kid. I don't know who this guy is or if he ever went on to work under a different name. I mean, but man, he knows how to bump, but he is young.
Young and slender.
And Barbarian just eats him up, which is what he should do.
Right.
We get a military press by Barbarian, drops McReynolds, and then Barb goes to the top rope and drops a big headbutt off the top. And Barbarian is going to win by pin.
I would have preferred to see the kick there. Set that up as the, oh my God, what will happen when Sting gets his face kicked off?
I don't know. I kind of do like the diving headbutt he does. I think it's
fine, but I'm talking about this is the go home show, and he's going to face Sting, and they've been building that move. They should do something.
What do you mean he's going to face Sting?
I mean Simmons. Sorry, I got messed up.
Yeah. All right. Well, Barbarian wins, obviously. From there, we get an ad for Halloween Havoc, and then we get a Doc. I can't believe that they aired.
Why? Why are we doing this?
Another video package of Van Hammer's music video. Why?
Why?
No one cares about this guy.
Man, if there's something that white people and black people and people on the left and people on the right should all be able to come together, other than daylight savings time needs to stick around, is coming together with hatred over this.
Why are we still pushing this hair metal gimmick in 92?
Bro, we're deep into 92 too.
We're almost at the end.
Yeah.
We're in the fourth
that
quarter.
That fool needs a flannel shirt.
I mean, how much more proof do we need that this gimmick isn't working? And this is on Bill Watts' watch. Why? No one can answer that question.
Well, I mean, Jerry Jarrett said I needed to get out there and have some blowjobs, so I figured, why not?
Nah, this is bad. I'm not spending any more time on this.
Okay, I appreciate that.
If a Van Hammer video wasn't enough, well, now we're going to get a Van Hammer match. Van Hammer versus J.D. Wolf. Doc, this got the fast forward button. I immediately went to the finish. He hits the slingshot hammer rock suplex and wins, and I don't want to talk about this dude anymore.
I'll say this. J.D. Wolf's a better worker.
No disagreement from me, but that ain't hard to do.
Oh, well, I mean, I ain't trying to besmirch J.D. Wolf. He was all right out there.
I mean, I wasn't much of a worker myself, but I guarantee you I could run circles around Hammer.
All right. Could you do it with a menthol cigarette, though?
No. It was a Virginia Slims.
That's worse. You would have the menthol. That's what it is. You would have a cool in your mouth.
No. Nope. All right. From there, we go to the Halloween Havoc Control Center. Jim Ross throws to another replay of the entire card. This is the second replay we've seen of the whole card. And then we get a Jake promo. Jake quickly says this will be Sting's last match. Then they go to a Rude promo.
Wait, does that mean that Jake the Snake is going to bring a big pane of glass? Since it's his last... Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It is funny, though. Here it was in 92. We're getting Sting's last match, right? Or not from Sting, but Jake was saying it. And that didn't happen, no. So no pane of glass. And then we go to a Rude promo. Let me play this because my note says it's funny, and I don't even remember why I said that.
I have that it was great, so let's hit it.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. It's about Bo and Dion. Here it is.
From Jake the Snake Roberts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been joined by the United States Heavyweight Champion, Ravishing Rick Rude. And Rick, how are you preparing for 2 championship matches this Sunday night at Halloween Havoc?
You're a silly fool, Ross, because my preparation's already over. I'm sure that I'll make wrestling history by defeating 2 great opponents in one night. That's right, Ross. I'm about to go where Bo don't know. And what I'm about to do would make Neon Dion look like a peon.
All right, obviously, Ravishing Rick Rude has a great deal of confidence.
It doesn't need to take long.
I'm about to go where Bo don't know and where Neon Dion will look like a peon. And then that's nice.
We got a lot of talent on this roster to have Rude wrestling twice.
Stay tuned.
Okay, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's about to happen, so that's just my take on it. But we'll see where we end up.
Then Simmons cuts a quick promo. He says he's going to watch for the big boot from Barbarian and the head drop off the top. And he's also got to watch out for Cactus, and that was that. And here we are. We're still, a day out, and we're still plugging that Wyndham and Rhodes will take on Gordy and Williams, which, well, stay tuned.
Shit, they can't get in the building today. What makes me think they're going to be there tomorrow?
All right. Let's continue. Doc, the next match, we go to a team called Shanghai Pierce and Tex Schlesinger versus Joey Maggs and Smoky Mountain Wrestling legend Jeff Daniels.
The man that Kevin Sullivan damn near killed in a high school gym in Shithead, Tennessee.
Man, split his wig open with a wooden chair, man. That was nuts.
From behind.
From behind, yeah.
Just like you like it.
Okay. Pierce and Schlesinger This is Dennis Knight and Mark Canterbury. And Canterbury's been around for a while doing jobs. We've seen him on TV for quite some time. These are the future Godwins.
Sure.
That's my note on this match because it wasn't really long. What I hate about this is, so remember how we've had to talk about hemorrhaging tag team talent?
Uh-huh.
Well, we got to go create a new tag team.
Well,
so
maybe they could. I was thinking that maybe they could run around and look for Stan Hansen too.
So here's Shanghai Pierce and Tex Slashinger, which, to be fair, I think they're pretty good. They're just being put in a bad situation.
Sure.
With the promotion right now, and they're just in cold and nothing really happening. Any thoughts on this match?
I do have a question. Why does a Texas Cowboy need a mask?
I don't know. I mean, Red River Jack had a mask, but he wasn't supposed to be a Texas Cowboy, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, man. The whole mask thing, the mask thing is weird if you're younger. Because I didn't bat an eye back then about a Texas guy with a mask on back then. Because, I mean, the Super Destroyers had them, and I don't know. That wasn't something I even thought of back then.
That's true.
Yeah. Like, I think now we look at it and go, why does he need a mask? But I don't. That was just a part of the wrestling back then. Nowadays, the only people it feels like the only people who wear masks now are luchadors.
Right.
I mean, there's the occasional wrestling talent that wears a mask that's not a luchador, but I don't know. To me, that's what it feels like.
Okay.
All right, let's continue. Any thoughts on this match? I can go to the finish if you'd like, if you don't have anything.
No, I don't have them. I think I gave you what I had.
So Canterbury is going to hits a reverse DDT and then an elbow drop by Slashinger for the win. And the new team gets a win, and I'm not mad about that at all because you got to do something. There's no tag division.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very barren, it seems. So that was my thoughts. All right, give me a second. I'm going to fast forward us and get us to someone called the Masked Intruder is cutting a promo with Paulie Dangerously. Let's go to that right now.
We're back here on TBS with Paulie Dangerously and a masked man. Paul, what's the story here? Matter of fact, I'm quite surprised to see you here today.
The story here is that there is peace and unity within the Dangerous Alliance, but all of a sudden, Cow Pie Bill Watts comes out here and wants to stir everything up between myself and the United States Heavyweight Champion, Ravishing Rick Rude. Now, Bill Watts, we could wait outside this arena tonight and bust your face with a phone and a baseball bat, but what I'm going to do to you is even worse. I'm going to take away the most precious thing in your life, just like you tried to destroy the Dangerous Alliance. I'm going to make you sit back nice and healthy and watch the demise of your punk kid's career. So I went out, and while I'm doing my world travels, I got myself a contract with the Masked Intruder. So you sit back nice and healthy, Cow Pie, and you watch as I take out all of my miserable hatred on your miserable, stinking, good-for-nothing son. Ladies and gentlemen, the man that will end the career of Cowboy Bill Watts' pride and joy, I, on behalf of the Dangerous Alliance, give to you the Masked Intruder. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back up to Rhubarb Jones.
Oh, the Masked Intruder.
Who is that?
I don't know. I tried to look, and he does move like someone, but he's
that's insightful
not just.
That's insightful commentary.
Well, he's not. Here's my point. He's not some inexperienced wrestler
he can move
under a mask. Like, you can tell pretty quickly he's not just some nobody. The gear he's got on I feel like that gear was what the Dominican Republic team was wearing at the NWA tournament back in the summer of 92. But it also, I was trying to remember if that's the exact same mask that Rude had on when he came in as the Phantom last year at Halloween Havoc.
He's a big guy, too.
Yeah, that guy's got some size on him. I just can't tell who it is.
Okay.
And I looked, I was like trying to watch how he moved. He's definitely got some size on him. He's not an inexperienced, just nobody off the street.
Correct.
Which makes sense because Eric Watts is still very young. So, they put him out there with somebody who can, help him out and not just an inexperienced jobber where then both of them look bad.
This was still pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad because it's just dumb, my note was this. I wish they didn't just put someone under this, the same mask that we've seen before. But I also realize you can't send a main eventer out there for Watts to eat up. This guy is big, so like I said, he's got experience, but I just don't know. I don't just feed him a jobber or something. I don't know. It's just
stop jerking us around and give us the wrestling we want. God damn it.
Yeah. I get it because it's like, well, our best manager, Paul Lee. Let's let him put this guy over. That way, when Eric beats this guy, it looks like it's that much more, right? But did it though?
No. And here's the thing. I'm concerned because I thought when we hit 1990, because it's all my dark period, that this was going to be the time when the show got bad. And we've said that the product was not bad in 90, 91, and so far into 92. But the product is bad right now.
There were bad moments, like the normal
Sure, but
stuff.
I'm pretty fearful of the next couple of years now.
I mean, it's just there's bad moments. But then there is good stuff.
You might need to get Crockett warming up in the bullpen.
Crockett watched these as they took place.
Okay.
He remembers them well.
I bet. He's a better fan than me.
There are moments in this where during this era it's hard to look at it and try to give it a fair shake, especially in this example, because I mean this just screams like
crap. Nepotism. Crap.
Yeah, man. And it's not fair to Eric Watts as much as I want to excuse me.
Come on, dude.
Can't be mad at him.
It's not his fault. He probably doesn't know what he's being put in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Right. Poor little fella.
No, I'm not saying that because he was getting paid well.
Oh, okay.
Daddy's the boss, so you're getting paid well, right?
Now you better get out there, son, and do what you need to do because I'm not making money on you because then I'd have to fire you to make money on you.
When he was on that podcast with Wolfie D, dude, he's talking about his dad and how miserable and angry his dad always was. It's funny. He's like, man, my dad, one time I was at home, my dad comes home and he's always angry about something, everything. He's never happy. He dips his toe in the water and the pool's like ridiculously hot, like a hot tub, and he's yelling and screaming, God damn it, I just want to sit out and relax in my pool. I couldn't get home and that pool's fucking hot. And I'm just like, and Eric's just like, he got so used to being screamed at by his dad, it just had no effect anymore.
That's true. And I'll tell you this. They talk about all these old John Wayne types, and that's the thing I hate about it when they talk about the guys that are like, what's wrong with, Tony Soprano said with the strong silent type. Those guys were miserable people and bullies often and just not cool.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
But I also think nowadays parents are too nice to their kids.
Not you. I hear what you do over there. You're balling out on those children.
Okay. All right. Eric Watts wins. He catches the Masked Intruder with a fireman's carry coming off the rope, and Watts pins him. Paulie comes in the ring, and he isn't happy. And then Paulie storms over to JR because he's got something to say. Let's go to that right now.
What a situation. Well, Well, I guess I thought we were going to have a word with Paul E. Dangerously.
Isn't it enough that this neo-Nazi fascist dictator wants to ruin my life? That he wants to ruin the Dangerous Alliance? That he railroads Steve? That he railroads Bobby? That he railroads Arn? That he railroads Rick Rude? And he tries to turn the whole stinking world
Paul, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I can't believe what happened. I am so sorry, Paul. I am. I am.
As you see,
Paul.
there is unity in a Dangerous Alliance. We agree on everything.
Yeah, wait a minute. There's one thing. Why did you stand Rick Rude and myself up on those two important meetings? You know how important those meetings are. Why?
I meant to be at those meetings. My secretary messed up my whole agenda.
Your secretary.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Tell Rick I'm sorry. We'll do the meeting Tuesday. I'll be there at noon.
Oh, no, you wait 1 minute. You know next weekend is Halloween Havoc? Do you realize how important that is?
It's tomorrow, so what?
I want the meeting, and I want the meeting now. And so does Rick. And don't you even try this crap again.
Look, I paid you to do your job, and you're doing it very, very well. So if you want a meeting with me and Rick Rude and you right now, let's do it right here, right now, okay?
Right here, right now, that's fine. Rick is here. You want me to go get Rick? I'm going to go get Rick. We'll have this meeting right now. Fine.
One thing, forgot to mention to you. I got a meeting in about 5 minutes. As soon as the meeting's over, I'll beep you. We'll have the meeting.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's a typical Paulie.
All right, well, I don't know when then.
Never good for his word. We'll get to the bottom of this.
All right, thanks very much.
Did you catch all that?
That's a lot. He called him a neo-Nazi, which is pretty stiff as well. And I have a feeling that was some real life type stuff because apparently, the old story when he ran ECW and they were like, send me the flight number or the ticket number. And hey, Paul, that's too many letters. I'll just take one of them off. But it's pretty bad acting. The meeting. We want the meeting. How generic is that?
It might have been somewhat bad acting, but that seemed real from Paul because he's like, well, we can meet now, but give me 5 minutes. And he blames his secretary for him missing the first meeting.
Right.
So, and the way he did it really seemed really like the stories you hear about Heyman and how he was just a con artist in many ways. But the funniest thing about that, when he blows off Medusa and says, we can meet now, but give me 5 minutes, I'll beep you. Now, for all the kids out there, if you're born after the year 2000, or maybe before, you probably have no clue or have an understanding of what a beeper was. A beeper was a way for someone to send you a message via this little black box that had a phone number attached to it. And what you were supposed to do was, when your beeper went off, so if somebody called your beeper and left their number on it for it to pop up on your beeper, you were supposed to do is find a phone, call the person as soon as you could, and if you were out and about, go to a payphone or something. And it's funny when you see movies that were made in the beeper era because you see a doctor gets a beep, or better yet, a drug dealer with a beeper, and they're like, I got to make a phone call. I just got to beep. It's really weird when you see beepers in action because, bruh, I don't want to answer phone calls now. I can't imagine the beeper days like, nah, I'm good. I'm not calling nobody. I got to go find a payphone. There's a zero chance in hell I'm going to do that.
It was a different time, though.
It was. So anyway, more to come on with the Paul Lee Medusa Rude situation. That's not over. I can guarantee you that right now.
Okay.
As we go to commercial, we see WCW debuts Johnny Gunn next. More on that in a little bit. When we do come back, Teddy Long is with JR, and he hard sells us on the big pay-per-view and seeing Ron Simmons tomorrow. And then, did you have anything from that, or can we go to the next match?
Go on.
From there, we go to Johnny Gunn versus Buddy Lee Parker. Boy, just wait till Johnny Gunn and the Z-Man start tagging.
My note here was, it is like we have a Tom Zink cloning machine.
I can't add anything to it. That sounds about right. That sounds very, very accurate, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad you approve.
So anything from this match, or can I go to the finish?
I'm not interested.
So Gunn is gonna, I believe, hit Parker with a Thez press, and Gunn wins. And right before he hit Parker with that, there was a boring chant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
People ain't here for this shit.
No, they are not.
And they weren't bored because of Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker.
It's not his job.
Nope. From there, we go back and we go to commercial, come back, and it's Nikita Koloff, and he's meeting with Tony Schiavone, and it's an up close and personal segment. This promo hits different. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to tell you what happened. In summary, Nikita talks about loving his freedoms in the great U.S. of A. He's thankful.
Hey, that shit ain't free, man. Those freedoms are not free.
He's thankful. He compares that freedom to what the U.S. belt means to him. And Tony asked him about the match that he's supposed to have with Rude. And if Rude doesn't defend it, he will be stripped, because that's the stipulation in the contract that Bill Watts said. He said, if you don't defend it against Nikita, we're going to strip you of the title. And then Nikita makes a lot of sense when he said, I can't speak to the Dangerous Alliance's problems and whatnot, but I'm going to be there to wrestle, and I'm going to win the belt. And then this is what was interesting. Nikita then thanked the fans for their support. He thanked Dusty Rhodes for teaching him how to face adversity over the years. And he asked the fans to stay optimistic, and he feels tomorrow night at Havoc will be his night. But the tone of the interview, it was almost like Nikita was giving a retirement speech to me. And maybe it's because I know this is like Nikita's last big hoorah and big pay-per-view match with WCW. That might be it. I don't know. But it was very somber, I guess. That's the words I'm looking for. What did you think about all this?
I thought it was weird because, like, Tony basically said, so you don't set your sight on the world title, you go on the U.S. title. It's like, damn. Does he order Does he order junior whoppers too?
He kind of made sense though, because he tied it in with the freedoms. And, what the U.S. title meant for him.
You never forget the freedoms. You never forget your first freedom.
And then here's the thing, man. You got to remember, Nikita is a former U.S. champ, so that belt does mean a lot to him.
It means so much to him that he turned down. No, I'm just kidding. All right, whatever.
But this was weird. Like, it almost sounded like a retirement speech without the, hey, I'm retiring.
Maybe he knew.
I'm telling you, I think he, in his mind, he knew, all right, this is it. You know, this is it. I'm done. Because again, he thanked the fans. He's like, I want to thank the fans for their support. I want to thank Dusty Rhodes for teaching me how to face adversity. Like, it was all very somber. I just very thankful type vibe. That's why I said that.
Okay. See ya.
Any other thoughts?
No, bye.
We then go to Rick Rude versus Eddie Desmond. And Doc, I have a question. Rick Rude without the mustache.
He looks like, I have a note, he looks like a bigger prick without the mustache than he does with it.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Bigger prick with or without? And you answered.
Well, it's hard to, I mean, the answer is truly both. But yeah, it's just, maybe it's a new prick.
Yeah. He grabs a mic before the match, and he calls the people nothing happening, insignificant worm face wannabes. Worm face. All right. He's going to hit the Rude Awakening for the win. You got any thoughts?
Yeah, I need to get to 58-42 because I need some dancing with dicks.
58 what?
58-42.
Oh, there it was. Here it comes. It makes me rewind in like 10-second increments. Here it comes. There you go. Swivel hips. Little dick dancing.
That never gets old.
Yeah. Anything else? Like I said, he wins with the Rude Awakening.
There you go.
Yep, and that is it. All right. So from there, time for a promo. Rick Rude, Medusa, and Nikita Koloff. I want you to listen to Rude. He starts preaching. I mean, there's something he says here. I'm like, bro, nailed it. Here it is.
Championship matchup. What a challenge you've got in 24 hours.
I guess Paul E. Dangerously made a big mistake by signing that contract. I guess Paul E. Dangerously is going to have to do some real quick thinking. Did you get that taken care of, Deuce?
Yeah, I did.
Did you get it taken care of?
I did. The best I could, I did. I swear
What
to
do you
God.
mean the best you could? Want something done, you got to do it yourself. You know, Ross, it's obvious that the NWA and the WCW have combined forces to try to back me into a corner, but it ain't gonna work. What are you doing out here?
Here comes Nikita Koloff.
Hey, the facts are the facts. And the fact is that you signed the contract, or Paul Lee signed the contract for tomorrow night. But that's not my problem. Our match comes first, and you better worry about me first, not Chono, because I'm going to the ring at Halloween Havoc with one thing on my mind, and that's to walk away the United States Heavyweight Champion. Listen, Koloff, I'm not giving up my United States title, and I will become the NWA champion in one night. If it's a fight you want, Koloff, it's a fight you're going to get. I'm not going to leave you disappointed.
I think Rude's doing his best to talk to people into the building, but we got a lot of problems heading into the pay-per-view. What do you think?
Yeah, he's doing a good job, and I mean, it's the truth. It's always been the truth. If you want something done, you better count on that man in the mirror, bro.
Dude, that was the part where when he said that, I'm like, that reverberates through me as I've gotten older, like nothing else. If you want it done right, just do it yourself.
So you're gonna start putting all the silverware down the garbage disposal too?
Inside joke. That's funny. All right.
That was good.
Well, let's continue. I thought that was good. And look, again, this pay-per-view, if it doesn't draw, it ain't got nothing to do with Rick Rude.
No, of course not.
Speaking of somebody else it's got nothing to do with, Steve Austin. He's with Jim Ross getting ready to cut a promo because he's about to have a match with Shane Douglas. Here that is.
Back everyone to WCW Saturday Night. Jim Ross back with Stunning Steve Austin. In a few moments, Stunning Steve Austin will go one-on-one with Shane Douglas. If we remember here last week, Shane Douglas, what a dynamic move, and that belly-to-belly suplex right here on the floor with Flying Brian Pillman, a man that you have been teaming with quite frequently in recent days. What are your thoughts as we lead into this one-on-one matchup in just a few moments?
One running off at the mouth about how dynamic Shane Douglas is. Let's talk about what is truly apparent right here, and that's two things. Everybody knows, the people out here and the people in TV land know that Stunning Steve Austin is by far the world's greatest athlete. The second thing, Jim, is that Brian Pillman, with this change of heart and change of attitude, is on a roll, a snowball effect that I just don't see stopping. And when you combine the two of us, you have one awesome tag team. Let me just show you what I can do in the ring right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, should be an outstanding one-on-one confrontation. Let's go back to Rhubarb.
How do we not see that this dude can cut a promo and he's a star?
That's not a superstar great promo, but it's in there. It's close, right there. It's
yeah,
close right there.
While you're running off at the mouth about how great Shane Douglas is, everyone out here knows that Austin is by far the world's greatest athlete.
I mean, it's just a little bit volume turning pissed off to you. You sit there and thump your Bible.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Austin 316, but...
He's not there yet.
But it's not as far away as it seems.
When you fire the guy, he ain't ever going to get there.
Thanks, Bischoff.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Well, let's go to the match. It is Steve Austin versus Shane Douglas. And they give him a lot of time. This is something.
I feel like they've done a good job getting Douglas heated up and things have clicked for him. And this has been a good build for him. We've talked, we're calling it down the middle. There's been a lot of things that are goofy and haven't worked out, but that's something I think that has.
It has been a good build. It's been a very good build as a singles competitor, but because there's chaos in the tag team division, just stay tuned to where this goes. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
It's hard to, but you're right. It's a great single build, and they're gonna do. I mean, not to give away the finish here because I want to see if you got any timestamps before we get there, but if you're trying to build a new star, a new singles champion of some sort, what they do in this match also is right.
These two have good chemistry. You know, we said that Douglas and Pillman had good chemistry. I think it was either last week or the week before. These two also have good chemistry.
They do.
What I thought was funny is that Douglas is actually bulkier than Stone Cold.
Yeah, right here he is. Austin hadn't
hit a cycle or had
no, he just hadn't really started to fill out.
He's needing some more Steve Weisers.
I mean, you could look at his arms and his shoulders. I mean, he looks good. It's just he's not. Obviously, he just hadn't filled out much yet. But when he does,
yeah. Both of these guys, 27 years old.
That's incredible. Think about that. Do you know the level of piss and vinegar you had and you had 27?
I don't remember it, but I would bet you that it's more than I have now.
I could get in a wrestling ring at 27, bump for 3 hours straight, jump off of anything I wanted to, and at probably anywhere at that stage of my life from 275 to 285 pounds, I wouldn't feel nothing the next day. Now I watch these guys take one bump and I'm like, oh, that hurts.
Can I get 112.38?
You sure can. Let me go to it. 112.38.
Here's something that's so simple.
112.30 right here. Here we go.
Okay. The cell here from Douglas.
Oh, on the
Look
suplex.
Yeah. And he yells out when he does it. Now, he would curse in ECW when he did that later. But he screamed out, oh, my God, kind of thing. I'd rather see that than somebody get dropped on the edge of the apron and not make a sound and then be up 2 seconds later doing it right back to somebody.
I remember when I first started seeing those apron bumps.
And I remember coming to you and going, that's not a good idea, is it? You're like,
I'm like, I ain't
never been in the ring, but that looks stiff. And you're like, dude, that is the worst.
I mean, it would be unfair for me to say like, oh my God, that's stupid, because I mean, floor bumps are dumb too. I mean, if you're gonna be realistic, you taking a bump on the concrete. Back when I was on the indies, very few indies had pads on the floor, so you were
but
bumping
two wrongs don't make a right. It doesn't mean you have to up the ante on violence.
Well, the part that gets me is it's like when you see them do like power bombs on the edge of it. I'm like, good God, that's just no, no.
Can I get 118.10? I have no idea what this is, but my note says it was good.
Yeah. All right. I'm at 118.01. Austin's got Douglas.
He told him something
corner
here.
to corner. Yeah. Reversal. Oh. Austin goes over the top rope and he's on the apron, and then Douglas drop kicks him off the apron onto the floor. Look good.
Yeah.
They're working towards the finish now.
Well, let's take it on in.
All right. So both guys are going to collide in the ring, and they're going to fly through the ropes to the outside. I mean, you've got a big old collision coming up here. Let me wait, because it's a nice collision. It legit looks real. I mean, look at it. Watch this. Bam. Mm-hmm. They both go flying out. I like that. Austin is the first to roll in because they're both on the outside. Pillman comes out and he tries to attack Douglas, but Douglas fights back. Austin then brings Douglas back in. Douglas fights off Austin and ends up hitting Austin with a belly to back, and he pins Austin 1, 2, 3. The reason I actually like this finish, I'm going to jokingly say wrong guy won because, of course, we're Austin. We know what Austin became. For a second, when Pillman comes out, you're like, oh, God, Pillman's going to cause, Douglas the victory. But he didn't because Douglas fought him off. Now, he does come in the ring after, and he starts fighting him and whatnot, and Douglas fights them off. But this was really good. A nice, clean finish, and the heels kind of got one-upped. Austin, who had been a long-time reigning TV champion, as a long-time reigning TV champion, not now, but he was, this really, you said Douglas, they'd done right by him. This really is putting Douglas over even stronger because, he just beat a former champion who was champion for quite a while. Any thoughts on this?
I thought it was a big win for Douglas.
Huge.
I thought the way they did it made sense. I thought it was a better overall match than the Pillman-Douglas match that I thought was good. It totally makes sense. And so we've been upset with things, but let's give it their due here. These two guys worked hard. They had a really good match, and the finish made sense. And now you got some guys that are heating up, and you're doing this shit right. And there you go.
Yeah, this is good, man. Like I don't want to poo-poo it. I'm jokingly saying wrong guy won because we know what Steve Austin became, but they're doing right by Douglas. We've been kicking him in the shins a lot, but here they are really putting a lot into Douglas, making him look good. And I think they're doing good by Douglas at this point. Like, trying to build up a credible star, and they're doing good doing it. They're doing a good job of it outside of other things that they aren't doing a good job of at all. All right, Doc. So on that note, we get another promo for the Halloween Havoc card because, again, it's tomorrow. So, if you want to see the pay-per-view, you got to call 1-800 blah, 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 or you go to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT and become a patron. That way you can get our review of it. But before we go off air, we got to go to Cactus Jack and Tony Atlas one more time. And let's just hear what goes on here. And, boy, Tony Atlas is ridiculous. I said Tony Atlas and Cactus, but there's more. You'll see. Here it is.
Everyone at WCW Saturday Night, as we mentioned tomorrow, it'll be Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas in a big tag team matchup with Flying Brian and Stunning Steve Austin. That's at 6:05 Eastern Time right here tomorrow on TBS. And next Saturday, one of the matchups will be Marcus Alexander Bagwell, broken nose and all, against Big Benny Vegas. We caught up with Bagwell earlier in the week, and here is what he had to say.
Yeah, Benny Vegas, as you can see and as all the fans can see, you've broken my nose. But if anybody's followed Marcus Alexander Bagwell's career, they know that I don't back down from anybody or any challenge. Next week on WCW Saturday Night, me and you one-on-one, broken nose and all.
So Bagwell in Vegas right here next week on WCW Saturday Night. Cactus Jack, less than 24 hours away from the biggest situation in your entire career.
That's right. The time is coming very, very soon. And I got a question for Ron Simmons. Ron, don't concern yourself with tomorrow. What about tonight? What about tonight, Ron? How do you expect to sleep? How do you expect to shut your eyes knowing that the Barbarian's here with a boot with your name on it? A headbutt coming off the top rope, looking right at you. I understand, Simmons, you're tucked away in Philadelphia resting. You need your rest.
Instead of him hanging around in Philadelphia resting for a championship match, he should be down in South Carolina somewhere shining shoes or picking cotton, because he got no business in professional wrestling. That boy should get down on his knees and shine everybody's shoes. You know, Ron Simmons, it makes me sick every time I see you with that belt, because, boy, you ain't got no need with it.
We've been joined here by Robbie Walker.
Tony, man, what seems to be your problem, brother? Hey, why you sweating the man the way you doing?
Should I ask you something? You made you sportsman.
Hey, this don't concern you. Why don't you just
look,
get
man.
away from here?
You ain't black enough to be in this. So, Tony, why you sweating the man? The man just trying to make it. Just
get off me.
Hey. Come on, guys.
Nope.
Come on, somebody needs some help out here. Fans, don't forget, tomorrow night is Halloween Havoc exclusively on pay-per-view, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll see you tomorrow in the main event. So long, everybody.
This has Bill Watts written all over it.
Okay.
But I want to know what you want to know why I say that before I ask you what you think about the promo?
Yes, I want to know what you think.
Okay. There's a promo in Mid-South where Butch Reed is running down Junkyard Dog and essentially kind of calling him, an Uncle Tom, and at one point he calls him an Oreo. Which, if you don't know, a black person calling another black person an Oreo is an insult because
that means you're black on the outside and white on the inside, right?
Right.
Okay.
So while Tony Atlas didn't call Ron Simmons an Oreo here, he insults him by saying, you need to be in South Carolina shining shoes and picking cotton. Go shine everybody's shoes. If that wasn't enough, Robbie Walker then comes out and tells Atlas, why are you sweating this man like this? And eventually turns to Cactus and says, you ain't even black enough to be in this, and pushes him away. So it just screams Bill Watts. I don't know if he was trying to create, Simmons and JYD and Reed here, like that type of feud, because that just wasn't going to happen. But I found it very ironic in terms of the racial aspect of the promo, because I heard similar things in Mid-South with Reed and JYD in a different era, 8 to 10 years earlier.
Okay.
That's what this will just remind me of. But Tony Atlas is something in this episode. I mean, it wasn't a mistake because it happened more than, and the point I'm getting is this wasn't a mistake. It happened more than once, right? Like he did it earlier, now he's doing it here, and then Robbie Walker comes out and has to say something too. It's like, okay, we're pushing, we're doing black on black crime here almost at this point. Like, I don't know. That's what I got of this. What did you think?
Same thing, man. Wow.
And I don't hate it. I mean, it's what it is for its time. Like I'm not trying to give that impression. It's definitely not top of the card feud, but it is something to hear Robbie Walker come out and tell Cactus. The funny part about that is he tells Cactus, you ain't black enough to be in this. Cactus isn't black at all. What are you talking about? Not black enough. He's Cactus Jack. All right. Well, we got to rate it and hand out some Toot Toot Awards, Doc. Before we do it, remember the only way you can listen to our Halloween Havoc pay-per-view review is by going to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That is tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Not only get Halloween Havoc, you get all of our WCW pay-per-views that we've done through 92, all of the Clash of Champions that we've done through Clash 20 at this point, NWA Power shows, ECW shows, all available on Patreon, along with the World Class shows with myself and Lance. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Doc, what are you going to rate this one? I feel this is a difficult one to rate.
It is, but by the strength of that last match and some of the promos, I'm going to give it a straight up B.
Okay, I'm in agreement. I'm going to go a B as well.
There was some poo-poo, but then we had some diamonds.
What about our Toot Toot Award? Who gets it? Remember, you can give it to a match, not just a person.
Yeah, I really wanted to give it to Tony Atlas for his incendiary comments, but I'm going to have to go with Douglas and Stone Cold here because I thought they did a really nice job.
I almost gave mine to Austin for his promo, and then I thought about Rick Rude too, but I think you're right. I feel like I got to give it to Austin and Douglas because they had a hell of a match, a very lengthy match. Nothing wrong with that. It probably went close to 20 minutes or so. But I got to give it to Austin and Douglas. They were on it. So let me ask this one last question, and then we'll shut things down for the show.
Okay.
Excitement leading into Halloween Havoc that will drop tomorrow night, based on everything we've seen here now with the build-up and all of the craziness that's going on backstage.
Well, I am interested to see what happens with the tag team because they've. I mean, it's stupid, but I'm interested to see how they potentially make it even more dumb. I'm interested in seeing if Rude wrestles twice. I have an interest to see if Barbarian can position himself as a credible top of the card guy. I mean, I think I know the answer, but when Cactus was there, he was badass. And I don't really know what to expect with this spin the wheel thing. So, we'll see. I've never seen it. So,
bruh, just wait.
Spoiler alert. Let me guess, the wheel breaks and then Jake Roberts picks it up and hits him with it.
Just wait. I mean, I can't tell you because I need you to see it. And then I need you to not message me about it. I need you to hold your tongue until we record and then be like, what the shit?
Okay.
But you'll be going, what the shit, for a lot of stuff on the show, I feel like.
That sounds like a fun time to be had by all.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, on that note, anything else before we get out of here tonight?
No, I'm ready to hit it with Harper and get into this pay-per-view. And I'm going to go watch the rest of this March Madness and check out my bracket, bro.
All right, then. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thanks again for listening to this week's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to retweet it, or whatever they call it now on X or Twitter, and share it on Facebook when we post the shows. That greatly helps. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and post a comment. All of that is greatly appreciated. Doc, let's get out of here, man. Won't you hit the tagline? Let's roll.
Book it, bitch.